I'm going on a one-night backpacking trip in Gifford Pinchot National Forest, and I'm taking you with me. You come here often?
I give our address away. Hey. So aesthetic. That was funny. This is how the real ones wear it. The gap in my back and the esophagus. Sorry.
Okay, bye! I'll see you tomorrow. One Friday night in June, I was sitting on my couch cursing myself for not planning a backpacking trip for that weekend. I had no plans and the weather was amazing. Then, in a moment of self-awareness, I realized that I'm allowed to hike out for one night in the woods. It doesn't have to be an entire weekend. So, I picked a trail in my favorite forest and packed my bag. This was a beautiful hike. The first few miles were on the Pacific Crest Trail winding through old lava flows. If you're lucky, you might even see some pikas wandering around in the rock. Turns out, it's really easy to pack for a one-night backpacking trip. I was free from the stress of reducing the weight of my bag since we were only hiking 8 miles each day and it was only 2 days. I brought plenty of food and even a small camp chair. It was invigorating. This is one of the last backpacking trips I did with the pack that I'm wearing in this video. The squeaking sound you hear in the background is the frame of my pack flexing every single time I take a step. No matter how I adjusted the fit of the pack, the squeaking wouldn't stop. It started to drive me crazy on this hike, and I have since caved and got a new backpack. But if you have any tips to make my old pack stop squeaking, please share them. And now I'm about to put you on to my favorite backpacking lunch. We got the meat stick, we got the cheese stick, we got the pickles. Let me wrap it up.
Peanut butter and banana. It's so mushy.
And a silent lunch dance to keep the good vibes going. This was the time of year when all the green was grown back and settled. There was a full canopy of leaves above us, keeping us cool. The forest floor was covered with ferns and clovers, and we were even blessed with some wildflowers as we got to the top. As we got closer to the tree line, the trail occasionally opened up, giving us glimpses of the volcanoes in the distance. Here is one of many Mount Adams views. Wow. We found this amazing campsite near the top of the mountain we were on, and we were pretty sure it's where we were going to stay that night, but we kept moving up the mountain to see the rest of the climb and any other camp options we had. The rest of the hike did not disappoint. We got plenty more meadows of wildflowers, and at the summit you were greeted by Mount Hood in the distance. Majestic as she is, we decided to camp under the gaze of Mount Adams. Tucked back in the trees to protect us from the wind, we began to set up camp for the night. In researching this trail, we found a lot of people saying to pack in all of your water because there isn't any on the trail in June, which was true. There was only one water source the entire 8-mile hike up the mountain, and it was at mile 2.5 when we didn't have any more room for water.
This is how you stake it out. That's the wrong way. You go out. Ow. I just punched a tree.
We did pack in enough water to get us through 2 days, but we ran into a man at the summit who let us know about a small stream about 20 minutes down the other side of the mountain. We jumped at the prospect of not needing to ration our water for the night and headed out to the stream. Because I don't think I would have walked this far. I probably would have gave up a lot sooner than this. It's probably better to go up here, maybe? That we have water. It was downhill to get to the stream, which meant a whole lot of uphill on the way back. After 8 hours of walking uphill with 30 pounds on your back, 1 extra mile uphill that isn't even necessary, even with nothing on your back, is a little rough mentally. And this was a steep hill, okay? To a child, Mount Adams, your sacrifice. Mostly home. It's a casual little campsite tour. We got the fire pit, some chairs, and then just a very casual view. But there's more. The tent is tucked away.
So many mosquitoes.
And then back here, we have just another little surprise. Be patient with me. Oh. Yeah. I'll have to show you the view later. We got a view up here. We got a meadow, rocks, trees, a sun and a clear sky, and Christina. What more could you ask for? Prepped the bear hang for later. Yours is a little harder to see.
Yeah, sorry.
But it's there.
Sorry about it.
Now we're gonna have a fire. And before you say anything, yes, we were allowed to have a fire here. We always check fire restrictions where we are camping. This campsite was below the elevation where fires were no longer permitted. We only make fires in pre-made fire rings and always make sure it's completely extinguished before we go to bed. If you're going to have a fire in the backcountry, please make sure you understand the regulations wherever you're staying, as well as basic fire safety principles. Okay, thanks, love you. On that note, please also secure your food from animals using either a bear box or a properly hung bear bag. It protects both you and the animals in the area. My bag wasn't going to be heavy enough. That's a great bear hang. Oh, look at our bags. Cute. I'm going to do a little heart animation around our tube. And it's going to have the sound. Cheers. I'm reading a scary book about people who got lost in the woods.
Ashley, I can't deal with you. Don't tell me about it.
Okay. I'll tell you when you're older. If you're sitting there wondering, what makes a good bear hang? It's your lucky day. Your bear hang should ideally be at least 200 feet away from your campsite, so that if a large animal does try to get your bag, it won't be near you or your tent. You want to find a tree with a branch that's about 15 feet off the ground and allows you to throw a rope around it 10 feet away from the trunk of the tree. This is so that a bear can't reach your bag from the ground on its hind legs or by climbing onto the tree trunk. The ideal way to hang your bag is using the PCT method rather than tying one end of your rope around the tree. Some bears that are near humans a lot have learned to cut the ropes tied around trees to get the food to drop. The PCT hang will not drop if the rope is cut. I recommend watching a specific video tutorial on this hang type if you're interested in learning the specifics of how to hang your bear bag properly. Now enjoy some ASMR breakfast prep. My dinner's still on my spork. So good. Whoa, that's cool. So you remember that scary book I read in the tent the night before? Yeah, I definitely had nightmares and trouble sleeping because of it. I remember hearing what sounded like loud, heavy footsteps outside of our tent all night. Realistically, it was probably just the wind, because it was really windy that night. We only saw one person the previous day, and it was the man camping at the summit who told us about the water source. I started feeling paranoid because I had told a strange man the area that we planned on sleeping. I was questioning if our food bags were far enough from our camp, or whether the scent of our food was upstream from our tent. I don't usually get so spooked while camping or backpacking, especially when I'm with another person, so I'm gonna blame the horror novel that was a little too relevant. All that being said, it felt so magical to wake up at this campsite. I watched birds dance around the treetops and the sun reflect off of the wildflowers, all under the watchful eye of Mount Adams. Maybe it was the lack of sleep, but I started to feel ill this morning and just became focused on hiking to the car and getting home. It was a pretty quiet morning, packing up the campsite and fueling up for our 8-mile trek down the mountain. I also consumed more water than I realized because I felt like I no longer needed to ration it after finding that extra water source, and I ended up cutting it really close toward the end of the hike, which did not help my circumstances. Regardless of how I felt, I promised to show you the view from the meadow near our campsite, and I wanted to deliver. Pretty sure that's Rainier. Unfortunately though, my camera did not pick up on Rainier in the distance.
Can't see that.
So you're just gonna have to trust me that she's there. I remember being hot and uncomfortable the entire hike down to the car. My feet were sore and developing blisters and my stomach hurt, and so I didn't record anything more after we packed up camp, except for a single clip of the only water source on this entire hike, a small spring coming out of a PVC pipe 2.5 miles from the trailhead. Thanks for watching. Love you, bye!